Okay, so picked up this Bally Arch Rivals. Now, as some of you may have noticed, it's in an Atari cabinet. To be specific, it's in a Centipede cabinet. The artwork is still underneath this paint, though I probably won't convert it back just because, I mean, why would I? There's a million Centipede cabinets out there. But, I mean, I was really tempted to convert it back. It has the original control panel, but it's been converted a few times now, because there's a lot of random holes drilled all through this thing, so that's nice. Notice this button gets stuck, so that's another thing that'll have to be worked on. But here's the condition. Bought it. Broken, bad power supply. So, got it. I actually didn't even realize it was a Centipede cabinet when I got it, but I got it. Has the good old Wells Gardner 19K 791, 7901, I mean. But typical monitor. I actually used this to diagnose my Centipede cabinet a little bit because I couldn't get its monitor to work, but that's all figured out, and hopefully it will come out in a later video. But so the main issue, power supply didn't work. Now this was still running the original Atari power supply. It had the original power brick down here and the original AR2 board, and they just got into it to get the 12, the 5, and the -5. And then obviously the isolation for the monitor. Person said he bought it and he took the power supply, this part of the power supply, out and used it in his Paperboy and put his Paperboy one in here. So that's interesting. But I got it, I tested it. The AR2 board works great, so I'll probably just resell that. But this power supply down here was bad, and very bad. The coil is shorted out. I'm not even sure how that happened, but the coil was completely toast. So I got this isolation transformer. I'll show you where I got that in a second. But I got RF, I got a fuse, it's all wired up good. There's a whole bunch of wires in here that aren't used because, I mean, why would I rip them out? Like the original monitor wire, there's no real point to rip them all out. I'd have to cut all these zip ties and all that, but there's no real point to. Might as well just leave them in case somebody does want to convert it back to a Centipede in the future, when there's less of them out there. But I just put in a brand new one of these to give me my 5, -5, and my 12, and I got my isolation transformer, RF filter, all that, the monitor. It works. I need to figure out the marquee, but this thing works. It's massive. Whole bunch of boards. The entire thing is one board, and there's the sound and some other board on top of it. But let me just go to the front here. I have the back door. Funnily enough, the back door still has the Centipede stuff on it. So, well, that was ever taken off. It's kind of weird. Surprised I didn't take that off, but I guess there was no real point to. But up front here, still have the coin mechs. I don't know if the lights work. I'm not sure if they're wired in with the power supply or not. They took the original test switch, and we have in here, we got our test switch, we got a button for something, and, well, it's a button, they call it a tilt button, I'm not sure why, but it controls stuff in the test menu. And then we got a sound controller. We're sadly missing the coin box, but it was set to free play. I'll have to change it off of free play. But up here we got, oh, I can't open this. Let me unlatch this. Okay, so unlatch this thing. In here, we got two 48-way joysticks, or 49-way joysticks. These are pretty cool and apparently very expensive. So that's a thing. So we got leaf spring switches. They all seem to work. That one is definitely stuck closed. Okay, no, that one's working. It's just gapped very closely. And this one that keeps getting stuck is technically not getting stuck. It still works. So all that's working. Oh, come on. Now, I'll explain where I got that isolation transformer. Isolation transformer was from this cabinet. It was a World Grand Prix or something from Tadio, then it was converted to a Great 1,000 Mile Rally 2, then I got it, the ROMs were bad, don't have good ROMs, yada yada. It's now being emulated off a Raspberry Pi. The CRT was bad, but not actually bad. So, you know, to catch you up real quick, here's the CRT that was in it. It's a 25-inch, I believe, monitor tube, but I could never get it to take up the full screen. It was just right in the middle for some reason. I couldn't figure that out. If you look at this, you can see the 1,000-mile rally is burned into it at the full end. So at some point it was right, but at some point somebody fixed it by putting the wrong chassis on it. Da-da-da! They put a 19-inch chassis, which happens to be the exact same chassis that's on the monitor out there. At least I'm pretty sure. It's really similar if it's not. But I'm pretty sure it's the exact same chassis that's on the one out there, just on the wrong tube. So, figured that out, and so now this one's just setting until I either get the right chassis or get a tube for that chassis. So, as you can see, it's running. The marquee actually lit up. I thought it was dead, but apparently it actually works, so that's pretty cool. I didn't have to replace a bob in that. That's amazing. So, I do have the glass and the monitor surround. They're just kind of makeshift, but one thing that's interesting is the original monitor mount. The original monitor mount, they just cut it out and mounted it vertically, which means they sent bolts to the outside of the cabinet, which kind of sucks, but oh well. But it works. I just played through a game. It's super fun, actually. If I had the room, I would totally keep this in my collection. This is a really fun game. I very much enjoyed playing it, but I just realized I'm missing some joystick screws. Which, as you can see, here's where the vinyl is broken through in one of the old buttonholes. Let me show you that. This is a whole bunch of random buttonholes all drilled through this thing. Like, here's an original start button, and the other one's probably right where this button is. And the trackball is right there. I mean, I guess the fire button was somewhere in there, I forget where. But there's just a whole bunch of random holes drilled through it. So I don't know if somebody just missed, or if this has been converted twice in its lifetime, which is kind of interesting, because this is an 89 game, so I doubt they converted it, they used an old conversion. So, either this was barely a Centipede for any amount of its life, or, you know, yeah, I don't know, it's a weird conversion, but it's a really fun game, really enjoyed it. If I had the space, would 100% keep it. All I need to do now, I'm going to get a magic eraser, clean this up. One thing that's cool is they're just kind of stickers. I guess you just put them wherever you end up drilling your holes for joystick stuff. But I need to get a magic eraser and just clean this up because this is really grimy. But clean that up, clean the glass up, clean it up. Probably won't do anything to the exterior of the cabinet just because there's no real point. Somebody wants to convert it back to Centipede. I'm not going to put a brand new coat of paint on top of it. No point to do that, but I will clean the paint. Make it all clean, because there's a lot of dirt, smudges all over it. Clean it all up, make it look really nice. This is a really fun game. Really enjoyed playing it. Actually, it was super fun. I'm not sure why they put two sets of, I guess if you're left-handed or right-handed, they wanted to be really inclusive, but also very annoys me that the pass is on this side, shoots on this side, the pass is on this side, and the shoot's on this side. I don't know why that annoys me, but that really annoys me. I mean, it makes sense, I guess. Your passes are closer to the joystick, but that messes with me a little bit. But it's a great game, super fun, really enjoyed playing it. This is just a quick short video, I guess, but super fun, pretty easy to repair, actually. Just a new power supply, and it's working. It was a fun game. Now, it's been a little bit since this was filmed, like always, and at this point, this machine is finished, and it cleaned up really well. As you can see, you can still see the button damage from old holes and the cracking vinyl, but otherwise, it cleaned up really well. I also noticed this one button is backwards, like the red is closer to the joystick instead of the white, like on the rest of the buttons, so that's really annoying. And that's where I'm going to leave this episode. If you guys liked, please leave a like and subscribe, and I have many more machines to come.